welcome back to another video. And guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I always bring some content every day that you don't want to miss. And guys, Supergirl's back. It's been like 2 weeks. Like honestly, I don't think they should have took this break. Like who takes a break in like the middle of a two-part? Like, okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah, they do that in movies. But in like TV shows, unless it's like a season finale going into like the next season, don't do it. Like it's the middle of the season. Well, they just came back from a break and then they took another break. But guys, mainly the reason they did that was because of the Oscars and the Super Bowl, which makes sense, but it just kinda, the timing wasn't really there. Like I kinda wish that happened, like they just waited Supergirl like even a couple more weeks. Like just had like the 10th episode come out now instead of like releasing 2 episodes and take another big break and then come back. Like it just makes it the momentum of the show like stop in its tracks, which I don't like when that happens to a show. Because you like the show a lot and then you have to wait 2 weeks and then it comes back, you're like, oh, that show's been on? That's pretty much what happens. But guys, overall this episode, it was good. Like it was solid. It wasn't as good as the last part though. Like when, as always, I like him. I didn't really like his name, Computer Lad in this episode. I get they're trying to make the reference like Lightning Lad. Like they actually referenced Lightning Lad in the episode and other Legionnaires, which I thought that was pretty cool. Like I still want to see the Legion of Superheroes show up though. Like you can't just keep, well I know they showed up in season 3, but I want to see them like show up again with like more members. Like they keep referencing them, mentioning all these members, all this cool shit, but then they don't show up at all. Maybe they'll show up in the next episode, because I know that Mon-El's showing up in the next episode, so maybe they'll come with. We don't know. But guys, with this episode, they have the whole storyline with him, and then the evil toy man, and even his father shows up. Which that was interesting. They did take that from the comics, which I like. I love it when these shows take from the comics and actually try to go with the story arc. It's really interesting. And guys, you see him fight off. He goes into the internet, tries to stop Toyman from like taking over the internet and come like pretty much carrying out his plan, which I like that, but just felt like the momentum wasn't there as much as last episode. Like I remember last episode, like everything was on the line. Wynn's family, all this stuff was on the line. Where in this episode, I get the internet, yeah, but it just didn't feel like the stakes weren't as high, which I know some of you guys may say, what are you talking about, Ethan? I thought the stakes were really high, but for me it wasn't that up there. Like there's still stakes, like it was still good, but compared to like the last 2 episodes where it was like stakes were super high, I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next? This episode's just like, okay, you know, okay, I can't wait to see what happens next, but I'm not like waiting on it really. Like I'm like, we'll get there when we get there. But guys, the action sequences in this episode were really good. You see like Supergirl fight off like these Lex bots from last season, which I really like that. Like when they're just going around just shooting things, like it was really cool. I like that. And even when Wynn went into the internet, was fighting off Toyman, when they like lift up and they're fighting in the air, that did look cool. Now I did think that one part was kind of ridiculous when like Brainiac 5, he goes over and does some flips and stuff, which I was like, okay, come on, like they didn't show him at all. I get it's supposed to show that he has skill and stuff, but for me it felt a little cheesy. But guys, other than that, there's other points in the episode, like Lex Luthor and Leah Luthor. Lex Luthor was great in this episode. Like, he tries to make a deal with, like, Obsidian North, which I think it's Obsidian North. They're, like, the one doing the whole VR thing, which I haven't been a big fan of that this season. Like, it hasn't been, like, the strongest point, but when you add Lex Luthor into, like, any storyline, it makes this show awesome, alright? Like, I swear, like, that was the reason I came back into the show. Lex Luthor, and he does great in this episode. He like makes a deal with one of the like mentors at Obsidian North and actually convinces them to work with him and Lena. And the conversations that Lena and Lex Luthor have is just really great. Like it really carries the story forward. And John Cryer just always kills it. Like you could give him crappy lines. You get any actor could get crappy lines and they can do it crappy. But you could give him like just decent lines, and John Cryer will pull that up and make him amazing lines. Like he just delivers very well, and I like having Lex Luthor on this show. And I heard that Lex Luthor will be like going to Superman and Lois, like a version of Lex Luthor, which I hope it's not John Cryer. Like it'd be cool if it's Michael Rosenbaum. That would be awesome. Like or any other Lex Luthor. So I want to see Lex Luthor leave Supergirl. Because right now, he's like the character that's making this show be like kind of decent, like watchable. I like it. So like, oh, I actually want to tune into this every week instead of like just waiting to binge watch it. But guys, other parts of this episode, Brainiac 5, as always, other than that one scene, he was really good in this episode. And he just having him have a secret talking to Alex, that was good. And I just want to see him do more bad stuff. Just alright, he's actually starting to go down a dark path. We know he's doing it for the good and trying to save the world against Leviathan, which I'll get to them in a sec. But against Leviathan, which it makes sense and all, but this episode just felt okay, he's actually kind of total good guy. Where I want to see him do some bad stuff because we know his reasoning. So do the bad stuff, and I want to see Brainiac 5 have an even more interesting arc. I want to see him push his character arc really far. And they've been doing that the past 2 episodes, and this episode is just kind of giving some conclusion to that, but I hope that's not the last of it. Now guys, Leviathan. Now, the one scene at the end where you see the old lady pop up again, that was a good shocker. I like that. But other than that, I'm still not feeling Leviathan. They really need to push Leviathan. Hearing Lex Luthor talk about, say, oh, they're really powerful. I get that. You could talk all you want about these villains. Even back in season 3 of The Flash, where they talked about Savitar. The Savitars are I am your greatest foe, Flash. I was alright, I get it, Savitar. You think that. But are you better than the Reverse Flash and Zoom? I still like Savitar in the long run. He was a good villain. But at the time, in that episode where he said that, it was the middle of the season, it just, I didn't feel it like this. It's more don't tell me, actually show me that they're great villains. Which I haven't really seen that from Leviathan yet, which I hope they bring in soon. Obviously next episode they're not going to do that, because it's the 100th episode of Supergirl. But after that, start pushing that conflict forward and get me interested. But guys, to the ending, see Mr. and Miss Fickle come back.
Your 3 months are up, and this time you're not gonna cheat me out of my fun.
Oh, it's you again, Mr. Kiltipsism.
Not Kiltipsism! Mix-yes Pitlick! Now, the first thing I'm gonna do... Oh, nuts!
Which is a different actor, it's a little jarring. I did like the actor who played him back in the musical episode, because he played it very well. Even though that episode was cheesy, it was still enjoyable, but it wasn't the best episode of Flash. But I still like when Supergirl and Flash crossover, because they just have a good dynamic, and they make episodes really great. But guys, next episode, it's going to be Supergirl's 100th episode. I can't believe there's been 100 episodes in this entire series. Pretty crazy. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. See Mon-El, see Mr. and Miss Fickle just do some crazy stuff. I'm excited to see that. So expect a reaction from me next week. But guys, another thing this episode is kind of like a Valentine's Day episode. The opening sequence, you see William and Kara, and they have this whole thing throughout the episode. Not a lot of scenes, and Kara decides, oh, I don't want to lie to him, so I won't date him. Which on one hand, I'm okay, I never saw them getting together at all. So I was fine with it. But on the other hand, I'm really? That's it? She comes in all happy, and he tells her about the grandma thing, and she's oh, I'm done. And she's I don't want to lie to him, which I'm bruh. It didn't really, it just felt kind of forced. If they tried to make this relationship happen, I don't think it'll be a benefit to the show. They should just leave it behind. William is just starting to come a not really important character at all. This is their only chance to make him important. They kind of just trashed that. But I'm fine with it. But guys, other than that, this episode, it was solid, but they could have did a little better. It's way 2 weeks for it, but I'm still super excited for next week's episode. That's the big one. 100 episodes of Supergirl. Tell me in the comment section below what you want to see in that 100th episode, alright? Because it's going to be a big one. Miss and Miss Fickle, they'll bring back characters like Rain. I know they'll bring back a couple other villains, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, guys, overall, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. It was solid, but they could have did a little better. I expected more because the last 2 episodes have been pretty dope. But yeah, guys, in the comment section below, tell me what you thought about this episode, what you think about Win, where you think his story arc will go. I'm kind of sad that he left, but it makes sense. But yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so it's great content every day that you don't want to miss. Alright, guys, that's the video. Peace out.